Have you ever wondered why relationships can be so complex at times? It's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? Relationships in all their forms are intricate and multifaceted. They're a journey of understanding and growth filled with surprises, challenges, and sometimes heartache. But that's what makes them so profoundly human. Today we're going to navigate the labyrinth of relationships, exploring 15 brutally harsh truths. So brace yourselves, it might be a bumpy ride. Let's dive into these brutally harsh truths about relationships. Are you ready? Truth number 1, relationships require work. Sounds simple enough, right? But here's the thing, relationships aren't like a piece of furniture that you assemble once and it's good to go. No, they're more like a garden that needs constant tending and care. You have to water it, nurture it, protect it from pests, and sometimes even perform a little pruning. Communication, understanding, compromise, and patience are your tools in this garden of love. If you don't put in the work, the relationship withers away, much like a neglected plant. Moving on to truth number 2, relationships aren't always happy. Now wait a minute, isn't that the whole point of being in a relationship? To be happy? Yes, but it's also important to understand that it's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's about navigating through the storms together too. There will be disagreements, misunderstandings, and yes, even fights. But these moments of discord are not signs of a failing relationship, but rather opportunities for growth, understanding, and deepening of the bond. And finally, truth number 3, relationships can't fix your personal problems. Often we enter into a relationship hoping that it will be the magic pill that cures all our woes. But the hard truth is, a relationship is not a band-aid for your personal issues. You can't expect your partner to fix you, or vice versa. Each one of us has our own battles to fight, our own demons to conquer. A relationship is about two individuals coming together to share their lives, not to fix one another. In essence, relationships are complex. They demand effort, they come with their share of highs and lows, and they certainly don't possess magical healing powers. But despite these truths, or perhaps because of them, relationships are beautiful, rewarding, and worth every bit of the effort. These are just the first 3 truths. Let's move on to the next ones. Moving on to the 4th truth, relationships change over time. That's right, folks. The couple that's been together for 20 years is not the same as they were when they first met. Relationships evolve and transform much like the people in them. Think about it. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago, are you? So why would your relationship remain static? It's important to understand that change is not necessarily a bad thing. It could mean growth, maturity, and deeper understanding. You might not enjoy the same activities you once did, or you might have developed new interests together. Embrace these changes and remember, it's all part of the journey. Now let's delve into the 5th truth. Relationships involve compromise. Yes, the dreaded C word. Nobody likes to back down, especially when they feel strongly about something. But compromise is an essential part of any healthy relationship. It's not about letting go of your principles or changing who you are. It's about understanding and respecting your partner's perspective and finding a middle ground that satisfies both parties. Imagine a tug of war. If one side pulls too hard, the rope snaps, but if both sides give a little, the rope remains intact. That's the power of compromise. Lastly, we arrive at the 6th truth. Relationships can be messy. Despite what romantic comedies might have you believe, relationships are not always sunshine and rainbows. There will be conflicts, disagreements, and misunderstandings. You might hurt each other's feelings unintentionally or face challenges that test your bond, but remember, it's these messy moments that make your relationship real and authentic. They provide opportunities for growth and understanding, for forgiveness and reconciliation. So when things get tough, don't be quick to throw in the towel. Instead, remember that it's just another page in the book of your relationship, one that adds depth to your story. These truths might be hard to swallow, but they are part of the reality of relationships. Let's continue. The 7th truth is you can't change your partner. This might seem like a tough pill to swallow, but it's a fact. You can't mold someone into the version you want them to be. People are who they are, with their quirks, habits, and traits. The key isn't to change them, but to learn to love and accept them as they are. After all, it's these unique characteristics that make them who they are, right? Moving on to the 8th truth. You can lose yourself in a relationship. We've all heard stories about people who got so wrapped up in their relationships that they lost sight of who they were. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of love and companionship, forgetting your own dreams, passions, and individuality. But remember, a relationship is composed of two unique individuals, and it's crucial to maintain that individuality. The ninth truth is a bit of a reality check. Love doesn't conquer all. Contrary to what fairy tales and romantic comedies would have us believe, love alone isn't enough to sustain a relationship. It takes more than just love. It takes understanding, patience, communication, and a whole lot of work. Love is the foundation, but on its own, it can't hold up the structure of a relationship. Finally, we arrive at the 10th truth. The right partner won't complete you. Yes, it's a classic line from romantic movies, but it's far from the reality. Nobody else can complete you because you are already complete on your own. A partner can complement you, support you, and bring joy to your life, but they can't fill in your gaps. You're responsible for your own happiness and fulfillment. These truths can be difficult to accept, but acknowledging them can lead to healthier relationships. Let's move on to the last set of truths. 11th truth, relationships require sacrifice. It's not always about grand gestures or dramatic renunciations. More often, it's about the everyday sacrifices we make for the ones we love. It may be as simple as giving up your favorite spot on the couch, or as complex as compromising on career choices. But remember, sacrifice should never feel like a loss. It's a testament to the depth of your love and commitment. Moving on to our 12th truth. Relationships don't always last forever. As much as we'd like to believe in happily ever afters, the fact is not all relationships are destined to last. Breakups and heartaches are painful realities we must confront. It's essential to understand that endings don't denote failure. They're part of the journey, teaching us valuable lessons about ourselves and what we seek in a partner. 13th, relationships can be lonely. It's a paradox, isn't it? You're with someone, yet you feel alone. This loneliness can stem from a lack of emotional connection, unmet expectations, or simply growing apart. It's a harsh truth, but it's crucial to recognize and address these feelings instead of brushing them under the rug. 14th, relationships aren't always fair. Love isn't a transaction, and there will be times when the give and take seems unbalanced. There could be periods when one partner carries more of the load, emotionally or otherwise. It's not about keeping score, it's about understanding, patience, and being there for each other, especially during the tough times. Finally, the 15th truth. Relationships aren't guaranteed to make you happy. Happiness is subjective and largely personal. A relationship can enhance your happiness, but it shouldn't be its sole source. Your happiness should stem from within, from being comfortable with who you are. A partner can complement your happiness, not complete it. And there you have it, the 15 brutally harsh truths about relationships. Let's wrap things up. So, what do we make of these truths? Well, we've taken an honest, perhaps even brutally honest look at relationships, unearthing 15 harsh truths. We've learned that relationships are not always a bed of roses, with each stage presenting its own unique challenges. We've talked about the importance of communication, the necessity of compromise, and the inevitability of disagreements. We've also uncovered how each relationship is unique with its own set of dynamics and complexities. No one-size-fits-all solution exists, and that's okay. It's crucial to understand and accept that change is not only inevitable, but it's healthy. Relationships evolve, just as we do as individuals. We've highlighted the fact that love, while a beautiful and powerful force, is not always enough. Relationships require work, commitment, and sometimes a good deal of patience. They demand we step outside our comfort zones, confront our insecurities, and often make sacrifices. These truths may seem harsh, but they're not intended to discourage or frighten. Instead, they should empower us with a more realistic perspective on relationships, allowing us to navigate them with greater understanding and maturity. Remember, acknowledging these truths doesn't mean relationships are doomed, but rather that they are complex and require effort, understanding, and sacrifice. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, keep learning and growing.